Hello there, Site-42 staff, as well as those of you from the greater SCP Foundation community. And welcome to another Coffee Break with Dr. Sherman, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site-42. As always, I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director here at Site-42 of the SCP Foundation. And as I have done for the last 11 and a half months and counting, because the daily stream streak must remain strong, I'm here to open my office doors to you, the SCP Foundation staff, to answer your burning questions about this dark and mysterious place of employment we call the SCP Foundation. So whether you have questions about the anomalies we contain, the staff that contain them, the groups of interest who try to stop us from containing them, or hypothetical containment procedures for anomalies that fall outside of the SCP Foundation's purview, perhaps they come from a different multiverse or pataphysical narrative level, i.e. fandom. Either way, we are here for the next approximately 1 hour for today's general Q&A, as well as our stream subject. But before I get into those, let me begin with a little bit of housekeeping. Legendary Doge Official, congratulations on being our #1 most punctual member of today's Containment Hazard Assessment team, i.e. congratulations on being first chatter. Alongside you, Lone Claw, Amber, Computer Guy, Blue Phantom, and Kilber, as well as Furries in D&D, Felix. Long time no see, hope you've been doing well. Everyone who I've just named, thank you for being here punctually, and thank you for being here as members of Site-42. We appreciate your membership and your service. Meanwhile, Intern Sniper, Intern Jonaverse, Intern Zuxel, Intern Axeman, and Intern 051 Redacted. Sorry, Recatted. Is 051 having a strunk? Regardless, thank you all for being here punctually, and thank you for being here today, just for being you. Now, even before I go into the sponsors, I saw this message out of the corner of my eye. I want to address it. Furries in D&D, a.k.a. Felix, thank you for your 8 months as a Mobile Task Force Captain here at Site-42. We appreciate your membership and your service up to this point. And you said, unfortunately, due to IRL reasons, I cannot continue supporting the channel with membership or super chats. As Felix, I must continue my projects. Well, listen here. We appreciate your support up to this point. And reminder, as we get into a conversation about an SCP project that just got supported, successfully kickstarted, we cannot expect one person to hold up the SCP community. And so it takes, in the case of SCP Gallionic, 6,000 people donating to make it happen. So thank you for your donations to Site-42 in the meantime, in the past. But yes, take care of yourself. There will be other people who can rise up to the cause. We need a little from a lot of people. That way we don't overtax one person to the point that it detriments their finances, health, mental well-being. So, no need for apologies. We thank you for your past generosity. And hey, maybe in the future, you will return to us in kind. But in the meantime, take care of yourself, first priority. Always. Your value is not determined by your wealth. Your value is determined by your character, and from what I've seen, Felix, you are very wealthy. Very nice words, Desk. And finally, of course, reminder, you don't have to support Site-42 monetarily. You can also be an avid member of Mobile Task Force Site-42, codenamed the Signal Boosters. Help us by liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, chatting, not just on us, but on the SCP projects we celebrate and support, because the engagement team is just as important as the finance team. So, thank you for your service up to this point, and for your continued service in a different capacity. Now, the rest of the donations and stuff I will get after the rest of our housekeeping. First and foremost, reminder that today's stream is sponsored by the Site-42 merch store. Here, we have the Reservoir Docs t-shirt. Very pretty art of some very handsome researchers. About to possibly do crime? Who knows? What do SCP Foundation members do in their off time? You never know. But available at the scpstore.org, the Reservoir Docs t-shirt, conceptualized by myself for meme purposes, art by Jade PNG, prominent SCP artist, and hosted at the scpstore.org, our friends who help us run the merch situation here. Thank you for supporting the channel by supporting our merch. Next up, we are here for the stream subject of the day, which is the SCP Gallionic Kickstarter has come to a close. It has reached the end of its campaign life cycle. A total of 6,247 backers pledged 280,767 euros. SCP Gallionic is successfully kickstarted. A success in the SCP Foundation Kickstarter place. Some of you in the chat has said, wait, SCP is getting an anime? Allow me to introduce you to the trailer for the upcoming 20-ish minute SCP animated short, animated by animators who have worked on such properties such as Jujutsu Kaisen, One Piece, Mushoku Tensei, and Dandadan.
So, your choice. What will it be? I'll hold tight to what little I have.
Suffice it to say, if you do not believe that that is the hypest shit, I don't know who you are or what your problem is. But suffice it to say, hype shit. Now, because they reached 280,000 euros, if we go down to the stretch goals, then we are getting, let's go down the list. Successful goal was 72K. We have a 10-minute short. 4 small animated skits, extra content at 82K. We got that. 95K, they're going to dub it in Japanese. They're going to need new voice actors. But we're going to have a true anime dub for SCP the Anime. SCP Panic Remake. At 105, they're going to remake and upgrade their original SCP music video. The one that caused me to comment, oh, hey, reach out to us when you want to make a bigger thing. And they ended up doing it. They did reach out and they did make a bigger thing. Everyone is happy about this. At 145K, we got the 15-minute version. You see, at 75K here, 72K, we were going to get 10 minutes of the short and then storyboards, kind of like what they did at the end of Ava. So, upgrading to 15 minutes, getting less storyboards. We did it. A documentary in the behind the scenes of what goes into the production. Now, for 170K, we want this documentary because we want the intel that they give us of their process to inspire the future animators of the SCP community. We want the BTS so our animators can learn to do better. This should be your study guide, people. At 210K, we got the full 20-minute short. So now there will be no half-ass storyboard, so to speak. We are getting the full kit and caboodle. Then we have the full music soundtrack. And so, honestly, I don't understand that one. You're only going to have one episode. I can't imagine you're going to have that much music. But hey, make some damn good music. Give us a soundtrack. I know people have been begging for the trailer music as a MP3 to listen to. And so, hey, maybe that's where you are. Get your music fix. And of course, because it's creative for the SCP fandom, it will be Creative Commons, which means you will be able to use it elsewhere. Along with our grand finale here, this is what I really wanted. At 280K, the public work files. Once the project is completed, we will release a curated version of all of our work materials online for anyone to look at, study, or reuse. Consider it like this. The SCP Foundation is a collaborative fandom. It is a Creative Commons fandom. What you end up with then is, okay, you can remix and reuse each other's work. All good. But when it comes to text documents, that's very easy. If you do art, people can use a picture. That's easy to reuse. Something like an anime has a lot of moving parts, lots of layers, lots of character designs, lots of things that would take a lot of work to even pull out and reuse. And while the community is Creative Commons, meaning you put your work out there and it is free to be remixed and reused, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to make it easier for them. You know, with the copyright, the whole goal is to hold it and hoard it so no one else can use it. Legally, they can't use your work without permission. Creative Commons gives that permission, but it also leads to some unfair practices. You know, humans aren't perfect beings. You get content theft. You get unethical reuse, doing so without the credits. One protection that these movies, that these animes, that these games have is that as bigger, more complex structures, it is harder to reuse the assets and some of the things unless you are competent at going into game code and pulling things out. For an anime, I would assume it's even harder. When you release the public work files, you are saying, all right, no holds bar, no holding back, use it. And you don't have to do that. You can use hoarding your IP in this Creative Commons manner still to kind of protect yourself a little bit. And so the fact that they are going full bore giving it to the community, I say it is crowdfunded by the community, it is the right thing to do, and I'm glad to see that they're doing it. And so this will be an incredible resource for animators in the SCP space, especially those with an interest in the anime side of animation. Stephen Tabari, it is true, the next stretch goal was the Ghost Stories dub, and we didn't reach that. Bummer. But overall, suffice it to say, a very impressive showing for the SOM Studios team for the SCP Gallionic Kickstarter. We are very excited for the next 2 years while they work on it and we see snippets drip-fed to us until we finally get the release. Now, while Des says, and Ghost Stories is just an abridged, right? Yes, basically. I think the difference is that Ghost Stories is done by the actual cast, whereas an abridged can be anyone doing it. But that does mean that you can still do an abridged if you want to do an abridged. Okay, so I'm very excited about SCP the anime becoming a thing. I know you are too. Good job, team. Mobile Task Force Psi-42 to everybody who donated, who liked, shared, subscribed, commented, chatted on their works so they could get the algorithm, so they could get seen, so this could happen. Another success for the SCP community. Thank you for your service. I saw something in the chat. Greetings, I was wondering if I can use the Dr. Sherman character in my SCP article. Terragal, yes. As Dr. Sherman is Creative Commons along with the rest of the SCP community, yes. You may use the Dr. Sherman SCP researcher character in your SCP article. Happy writing. Don't expect to keep your IP, though, if you make some sort of a furry creature, especially one that's somewhat attractive, or hell, it doesn't need to be attractive. Look at SCP Mallow. Yes, Goldtooth Slayer. That is true. The thing about Creative Commons is you are releasing it. In the past, some SCP authors have left the community due to community drama, and at the point that they left, they deleted their articles. And my thought was, wait, no, you can't rescind your Creative Commons. You contributed something to this community. Taking your ball and running away is rude and against the ethos of what you submitted to a group project. I don't like that as a vibe. I take deleting things from the SCP Wiki very stringently. To be honest, it took me a lot to get to the point where I approved of the Bruno articles being gone, just because I respect historical value like that. But, of course, once discussing things with the victims and figuring out how that would settle, of course, I ended up on this side of, yeah, get rid of them. But I try to keep that as a last resort for most scenarios. Aren't they archived then? Captain Evil Greasy John, if it's deleted from the wiki, sometimes you can still find it in the Internet Wayback Machine, but that's about it. They aren't archived in any way, except for very specific articles. The more articles that feature Dr. Sherman, the more likely it is he'll get a tag. That's true, DJ, although it is important to remember when it comes to tags, everyone, that a character can be featured in multiple articles, but they have to be a very prominent role in the article to make it count toward having a tag. So, for instance, we were discussing, I believe it was 4416 yesterday, and 4416 mentions that Dr. Sherman is the site director of Site 42, but that does not mean that goes toward my tags because it's literally just a name drop. So, we need to, if you want to write tales about Dr. Sherman, if you want to write Dr. Sherman to your SCPs in a manner that make the character taggable, I'm not going to fight you. Just remember, write the proper process. Go through the critique process. Go through the green light process. Make sure you're writing good works. Do not vandalize the wiki in my name. Make it quality. Why does Dr. Sherman give off hyena energy to me? Intern Zeta, I have never been addressed as such. You have confused me. But if that's your interpretation, what you're seeing, more power to you. All right, let me catch up on the donations that came in during the stream section. And we have about 45 minutes of Q&A remaining. So, let me start at the Ko-Fis, that way I don't miss those. Dr. Lovelace, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. And thank you for making the effort to go through the Ko-Fi, which, as we well know, only takes 3% of your donation, as opposed to YouTube Super Chats taking 30% of what you donate. So going to the Ko-Fi, we greatly appreciate the effort. Grab yourself a Dole Whip on your way past the commissary. And just as a reminder in the future for you specifically, Dr. Lovelace, I am going to go back and forth between using your researcher handle and using your YouTube handle, only because Lone Claw is so much fun for me to say. It's right there. So when I call you both, that's because. So I should have mentioned this the other day, but there's been a Mallow that canonically knows sign language since 2015. Look up the Agent Lurk tag. The character was created by the original author of 1471, Lurk D2. I did hear legend of this Mallow that learned sign language in the past, but I hadn't found it yet. So thank you for giving me a spot to go hunting for it, the Agent Lurk tag. I appreciate the intel. Blue Phantom, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a corn dog on your way past the commissary. Sorry I'm late. How's your day and yours to desk? So far my morning has been well. We are celebrating the great victory of SCP Gallionic, aka SCP the anime, and that means we are celebrating the great victory of the SCP community. We don't win every Kickstarter, but we hella won this one. Hell yeah. At 40 seconds before the Kickstarter ended during their stream, someone had donated just enough to have the files be shown eventually. Froy, you were there, I remember, in that chat. I popped in after work, but it was late. I had to go to bed. Did you see how much that last-minute donation was? It must have been something, I think the last I saw, they were at 272. So did someone donate... They didn't donate 8,000 euros. That would be crazy. So the question is, do you know what that last donation was, Froy? 500. Okay, so it was the last 500 in the move. Nice to whoever gave that last 500. That's what heroes do. Thomas Mila, thank you for your 10 months as a level 1 researcher here at Site 42. We appreciate your membership and your service. Hey, Dr. Sherman, got mine office back from the pie. Yeah, that pie was getting very ornery. Or should I say orangey? Anyways, I'm glad you have got your workspace back. Gold Tooth Slayer, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a brisket sandwich on your way past the commissary. Ooh, that sounds good. Where do I get some brisket? I'm going to the commissary later. The anomalous Campbell is here. Dr. Sherman, I got done testing the redacted, but it had some negative side effects. Now the walls are talking. I am okay. Ooh, a most dangerous game. Be cautious with your research. What even is brisket? You know, it's barbecued meat, but now you've got me wondering what specifically makes it brisket. I believe it is when you shred the pork or the beef. I don't think you can make chicken brisket. Suffice it to say, I believe brisket is some sort of shredded beef or pork. Define brisket. Silly questions in the Site 42 chat. Meat cut from the breast of an animal, typically a cow. Okay, so it's just the breast meat of typically a cow, but sometimes a pig. Good to know. I thought it was a kind of bread of some reason. Nope, not bread. It's meat. Blue Phantom, thank you for donating again to say. Site Director Sherman, someone gave 999 soda again. Damn it. Why would you do that? Hello, Charlie. Sorry, I'm doing something right now. Otherwise, I would pick you up because you're adorable. All right. Now I am done with the thing I was doing, Puppy of Interest 42, codename Charlie. And so now you can say hello to the chat, okay? I was busy. You will see why I was busy in just a moment. Hello. Puppy of Interest 42, codename Charlie, is here. Obviously, she wanted to say hi. She didn't say hi earlier. She had great restraint. And now, for your edification, a treat for the baby. Say thank you, Puppy of Interest 42. She says thank you. All right, for my allergies. And we're back. All righty. Wait, you have a dog while being allergic to them? How did that happen? I have roommates, and the roommates have animals, and I take a lot of Claritin. Cool Man Fight, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a quiche on your way past the commissary. And make sure not to abandon it. Good news, everyone. I'm getting $300 USD back in tax. Congratulations on your lucky tax return. Simple tax things I have learned as an old guy. Eventually, your goal is to be very careful with your taxes. That you don't pay too much in, that you're getting a return if you can handle it. Because a return is just an interest-free loan to the government. So now that you know that you got $300 back, if you can pay that little bit less to the government this year, if you're paying the same, getting the same, then you can have that in a savings account where it accrues interest. So it's something you can do where you figure out, okay, how do I not get a return? That way I'm keeping my money and making it work for me. Just little financial tips from your SCP Foundation fanfiction YouTuber, I guess. Not financial advice. Hey, I got an idea for an SCP, but I'm too young to join the wiki. What should I do? Intern Costco hot dog. You should practice your writing. You should take writing classes. You should train. This is your training arc, Goku style. You get in the writing gym and you train your writing hand. You get very smart at words. Read lots of SCPs. Since you're under 18, as you said, with parental permission, because it does have adult themes. Be careful. But watch your thingies. Read. Take writing classes. Learn to be a good writer. That way, when you do turn 18, you are a talented enough writer to survive on the wiki like that. This is your training arc, people. Floating away today. Thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a bratwurst on your way past the commissary. What historical figures would you like to recruit? If I could assure his loyalty, I would like to recruit Benjamin Franklin. If only to have the power of his magical wish-granting penis under Foundation control. Desk, was that a 3313? Poor Richard? Yes, SCP-3313 is Benjamin Franklin's magical wish-granting penis. You know what, Desk? Teddy Roosevelt also did punch death in the face. So, yes, Teddy Roosevelt would be a good one as well. Cool Man Fight, thank you for donating twice again to say, the fish god of birthdayism would be a new SCP, and Danish fish meatballs is my favorite type of way of eating fish, with the mini egg rolls as a side. Well, I do like an egg roll. I've never had a fish meatball, but I'll try anything twice, so that sounds nice. And then the Sentinel Strawberry Pie isn't happy about that. Well, I don't care what the Sentinel Strawberry Pie wants. The anomaly goes in the box if it doesn't behave. I just found out that crap Rangoon pizza is a thing. I would certainly prefer a crab Rangoon, but... Floating away today, thank you for donating again to say, what historical figures do you think might have had anomalous properties or would be subject of interest if they lived today? Well, I do know of many historical figures that were anomalous. I mean, we already had Benjamin Franklin and his magical wish-granting penis. When the Chaos Insurgency resurrected them, I think it was George Washington, Thomas Jefferson were also part of that cadre of founding fathers they brought to life to try and overthrow the American government. Also they resurrected John Adams and Alexander Hamilton alongside Ben Franklin. And so all of them were anomalous in one way or another. And then we know that Abraham Lincoln was a Tyrannosaurus Rex under a perception filter that made everyone think it was a human being. And so that was an interesting thing to discover and try to hide. Thomas Mila, thank you for donating again to say, Alakazam, I send thee room into the cat dimension. Whose room? I'm far enough back in the donations, I don't know exactly who you're talking about. I worry, I don't know if I'll approve this or not. Dr. Sherman, in your opinion, should a good SCP read like a story or a lab entry? Clinical tone question. So, obviously, the key to the SCP format is its restrictiveness. You're writing your stuff in a clinical tone. You're writing your stuff in a documentation that's meant to be online. And so, in a organization that hides anomalies. So, the limitations of the format are part of the appeal of writing an SCP. Now, of course, you can write tales, but the key to a lot of writing is figuring out just how you can bend that format without breaking it. I mean, trust me, I love format screws like SCP-3999, so I'm going to tell you that, yes, I love when the format is messed with. House of Leaves, one of my favorite books for a reason. So, me, myself, I am much more lenient on what people call, oh, this is just a tale pretending to be an SCP. I can go pretty far down that line without being upset because I like messing with formats. Some people are so strict that it limits them from the possibilities. Blue Phantom, thank you for donating again to say, Puppy of Interest 42 Charlie time. Well, that was just a minute ago, yes. I assume I'm catching up on the donations now. Floating away today, thank you for gifting us Site 41. Sum 41 is a band. Site 42 is a YouTube channel. Thank you for donating a promotion to today's Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am sure they appreciate the promotion. If they are here in the chat, then make sure that you thank Floating Away Today for the generosity. Good work, Blue Phantom. You did, in fact, summon Puppy of Interest 42 Charlie with your statement. Look at what you have done. This is what you have wrought upon us all. I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy now. Okay, baby girl. Get tall. Good work. Good baby tall girl. Good baby tall girl. So, congratulations, Blue Phantom. You got your wish. B7 TFS Site 42, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Nice name. Grab yourself a packet of Pop Rocks on your way past the commissary. And you didn't send a message with your donation, so simply thank you for your generosity. Goltus Lair, thank you for donating again to say. When I was talking about IP earlier, I was talking about how fans can just go crazy with what you make. And that's really something you can control. That is true, yes. And you gotta watch out because technically speaking, fan art is against copyright. You can, if you sell fan art things for money, you get in trouble if they are picky enough. So you gotta watch out with fan art if you're gonna try and monetize it, commissions, things like that. Be careful. And that's why I like the SCP community. It's a little more open that way. Cool Man Fight, thank you for donating again to say. I lost in the stock market, that's my money back. Oh, yeah. The retirement funds I have from my day job as a dance teacher are not appreciating this current stock market climate. Thanks, SCP-5004-B. The B stands for bitch. Floating Away Today, thank you for donating again to say. I personally don't think I'm qualified to do it, but what do you think of a small comic strips of the cataloging storing of an SCP to minor for an entry? Of storing of SCP to minor for an entry? That last bit, I don't understand what it means. But, an SCP, we have some very elaborate manga-style graphic novel webcomics that have been posted to the SCP community at some point. But something a little simpler, like a Saturday morning cartoon comic strip with the simpler format, you could probably manufacture that pretty easy. SCP the webcomic. Do it. I mean, the wiki is a perfect place to host a webcomic. Because if you're hosting a webcomic, you need a website, and then you need offset pages that show each image that you're doing. You could just create page 1, page 2, page 3 offset on the wiki.dot, and you can host your webcomic there. Creepypasta George Harrison, thank you for your 1 month as a Mobile Task Force Captain here at Site 42. We appreciate your membership and your service. Hi, just want to get your opinion about an SCP I had about the fact of some of the documents, staff members in SCP being conflicting and inconsistent. I wanted to get your opinion about an SCP I had about the fact some of the documents, staff members in SCP being conflicting and inconsistent. I'm not exactly sure what you mean. I might need you to rephrase this for me. But at the very least, we know there is no canon, which is why SCP documents contradict each other. And you just said idea I had. And so if you're trying to make an article about how this is the SCP that explains why the wiki is inconsistent, I do know that a couple SCP-001 proposals cover something similar, and probably some other SCPs in the first place. So I would look into meta SCPs about SCPs about the SCP Wiki itself as inspiration and what has already been done, so you can kind of change it up. But that's where I would go with that, because I know that subject has been covered, but at the same time, any idea can be done again differently and become a different beast entirely. So reproducing an article isn't a problem as long as you're not literally copying it word for word or just doing the same thing slightly different. Do it different enough that it becomes its own creation. Intern Ghost, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. In SCP-001, the database, the Foundation discovers they are fictional because they realize the SCP files are inconsistent. Intern Spikeface, that is one of the ones I was thinking about. Yes, good on you. So, Creepypasta George Harrison, you can look into SCP-001, the database, as a primer for what you're getting into and how it's been done previously. Gilbert, thank you for your first donation of today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a croquette on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, do you remember the book? Something crawled out of it. It's locked in containment, but very angry. All right, well, let's see if we can't calm it down. Maybe tranquilize it, and we can do some biological studies. If it won't communicate, that's the best we can do for now. As a new SCP writer, I'm intimidated by how much larger Series X articles are than Series 1. Spikeface, do not fret about that. Do remember that we just went through DumbCon as well as ClassicCon, which were all about writing shorter, more classic style articles. The classic style articles are still well appreciated. And in fact, there are many who say that telling a story with more words is easier because you have more time to explain yourself. Getting your story across in less words is more difficult. And so that being said, it means it's going to take more skill. If you can do it, then do it. Trust me, when I showed up back in Series 4, I was very much the short article writer type. You notice my SCPs, they don't get too long. I'm all for the shorties. Blue Phantom, thank you for donating again to say, I got it twice because I did it right before Charlie appeared earlier. Also, when's the next fan art viewing? Well, Fan Art Friday was yesterday, so that means next Friday. Fan Art Friday will come around each Friday. What's my favorite SCP animation or animator? Well, intern someone, that would certainly be SCP Gallionic today. SOM Studios with the sweet-ass SCP the anime coming up. Can't complain about that. Floating away today, thank you for donating again to say. Trade to say, SPCs not anomalous in of for entry. Trade to say, SPCs not anomalous in of for entry, and the people in charge of the catalog and storing of those SCPs, small comedic coming strip. I know the typos are not your fault. The YouTube Super Chat keyboard is super broken. I'm just trying my best to understand what you said. Tried to say, SCP's not anomalous in and of itself for an entry. Oh! I see what you're saying. You're talking about a comic strip, essentially a comic strip of the log of anomalous items. So, on the database, log of anomalous items. Volume 1 to start. The log of anomalous items is a list of items that are not big enough of a deal to be SCP specifically. This is why I always talk about how you can be on the SCP Wiki, but not an SCP. So, anomalous item number 1, an unbreakable lamp. Date and location of recovery redacted. Current status, kept in Dr. Wright's office in Site Redacted. Notes, this is one of the first items categorized as anomalous and denied full SCP classification due to lack of value in further research and little need for special containment. And so, yeah, I'm sure there are a bunch of these that could be rather interesting for a little comic strip, especially with Foundation researchers being goofy goobers and treating them, mistreating them, using them for pranks and the like. You can make an interesting short comic of that, I am sure. Why did you guys create the Shark Punching Center? Intern Skelly, obviously the SCP Foundation did not create the Shark Punching Center. They are a rival group of interest that sprung up around their passion for punching sharks. But on the higher pataphysical level above us, where our authors reside, people kept doing the typo SPC, 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 and eventually someone came up that it stood for the Shark Punching Center. And that became a joke that eventually became lots of stories, because on the SCP database and in any fanfiction community, if you make a joke that people like, they are then going to yes and iterate on the joke, much to the annoyance of people who don't like the joke. Suffice it to say, when DJ Cactus created the character of Dedo for the first article DJ Cactus wrote about that person of interest, me and several other SCP authors were like, oh, I have an idea for a Dado article, and the wiki got flooded with Dado for a couple of weeks before it calmed down. Intern Evan, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a egg roll on your way past the commissary. The tree won't scream because it can't. Bullshit. Bullshit. Get your negative Nancy attitude out of here. We will make that tree scream whether you believe in it or not. I need to know if it's okay to tag you in fan animations or not. Sure. Yes. If you make a fan animation of Dr. Sherman, I would like to see it. And so, yes, submit it to Fan Art Friday email. Send it. Put it on social media. Reminder, for those of you who are cranking out fan art for Fan Art Friday, I hope you guys, if you intend to be artists down the line, if you want to do art for a living, I hope you are also responsibly using social media to share your art in a manner that it gets seen and gets you followers, which you can then jujitsu into support in the future. While I greatly appreciate seeing the art here, I also want for you to be able to take advantage of your talent for future endeavors if that is the thing you are interested in. Obviously, you do not have to monetize your hobby, so to speak. It's a lot when you do that, trust me. But if it is something you are interested in, I hope you are using your social media acumen, and that means that I will see it on social media when you share it there. So I am on all the social medias because I want to get out there and get the SCP Foundation to as many people as I can to spread the word. And if I see a tag, I mean, the problem is I get so many notifications it's hard to find, but I try to find the tags. Blue Phantom, thank you for donating again to say, the tree won't scream for Sherman, it's got beef. Well, I don't care how many steak dinners you've given the tree, that should not inhibit it from screaming. Around me specifically. How is the spider who eats rocks? Intern Iced Tea. The floating hand spider is over at the super cool petting zoo right now if you'd like to visit. It is doing quite well. By the way, Site 42 staff, we are currently 15 minutes from the end of stream. 15 minutes. Wait a minute. Did I forget? I did forget. Aflac, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Thank you for making the effort to go through the Ko-Fi. Grab yourself a donut on your way past the commissary. Good afternoon, Dr. Sherman. I just got transferred to Simon's Chicken and Poutine. The fuck is poutine? Is it anomalous soup or something? Now you got... I wanted brisket earlier. Now you made me want some poutine. I'm gonna have a big lunch today. Big lunch. Yes, it is steak fries with gravy and cheese curds and other toppings. Delightful. Where's the invisible shark SCP? I forgot the number. Blue Phantom, the phrase you are looking for is absence of shark. Absence of shark. And so 1057 is the absence of shark anomaly. Very short SCP, but it is a negative space in a pool that can eat you. It's an Are We Cool Yet anomaly. They are pricks. We know this about Are We Cool Yet artists. But did you know that the Shark Punching Center has a secondary document on this anomaly? It is codename The Absence of Punchable Shark. And that is SPC 1057. A lot of people haven't seen this iteration of the anomaly. Shark Punching Center document 1057. Shark Punching Contingencies. SPC 1057 is to remain in the lap pool at Recreation Center 23 until a method of transfer to a smaller private tank has been devised. In the interim, the lap pool is to be closed and members redirected to Rec Center 22 for aquatic training. Description: SPC 1057 refers to an animate empty space in the shape of a tiger shark. It has no solid physical components, but is capable of displacing water through an unknown mechanism. While no one has observed SPC 1057 consuming food, early punching attempts show that it is capable of biting hands. See acquisition log. It is conjectured that SPC 1057 is remarkably smug about this. Despite the lack of a salation enemy, the SPC Athletic Council has voted to designate SPC 1057 as a standard salation threat. The Council's comments are below. While some may argue that SPC 1057 is literally a lack of a shark, we have decided that this does fall in line with the central mission of the Shark Punching Center. It looks like a shark. It bites like a shark. Most surely, it can be punched like a shark. We will continue our innovations in fist-integrated stimulation technology until Shark Punching Center Document 1057 receives the right hook it deserves. Shark Punching Center Council member Amy Tolles. Acquisition. Shark Punching Center 1057 was discovered within the lap pool at Rec Center 23. 2 Shark Punching Center personnel were killed, and 14 were injured during the various attempts to punch Shark Punching Center 1057. Unfortunately, all such attempts failed due to the lack of physical shark within the pool. During further examination of the Rec Center bulletin boards, document 1057 S24 was located. Document 1057 S24 reads, "Try to punch this. P.S. Fuck you. Are we PETA yet?" So yes, they are certainly dealing with it over there. Every Shark Punching Center is either ha ha punchy punchy shark or sharks have taken our world and we'll give our soul and fist to get it back, and no in between. That's the dichotomy of Shark Punching Center right there, Dr. Frogman. Blue Phantom, thank you for donating again to say, "Sorry, left no room. I meant it's got beef with you." I've never got beef with SCP-4521. I have not shared a brisket nor a steak dinner with SCP-4521. Does it think we've had a steak dinner? Does it believe we have had beef? Because if we can quash this rumor about us having beef, perhaps we can amnesticize it so it doesn't remember us having a... But we didn't have a... This is very confusing. If it's pissy that I ate a burger in the test chamber on the other side of the two-way mirror, oh, how would it even know? How would it even know that I had beef in its vicinity on the other side of that? That is a crafty tree. That tree, oh, if it can hear that well to deduce that I was eating a burger made of beef, it could tell it from a chicken burger or a turkey burger or a Beyond Burger. If it knew it was beef, oh my God, that tree is a menace. All right, well, we just have to intensify our tests then. Thank you for the intelligence, Blue Phantom. With this knowledge of the tree's sensitivity to sound, perhaps we can find a way to truly make it scream this time. My superhero story has been greenlit. Jim Biggio's next adventure is coming soon. 369 Destroyer, congratulations on passing the green light. It's going to be pretty impressive considering how out there a superhero SCP tale is. But I look forward to seeing what you put together and how it comes to be on the wiki. Floating away today, thank you for donating again. Would an alternate universe where it's the only tree screaming be more or less frustrating to deal with? Well, in the end of the day, that is still one tree doing the opposite of every other tree, which means it's still anomalous. So it would still have to go in a box. And I guess it would depend on the volume and the frequency of the screaming, because what we have with SCP-4521 is an ear-piercing silence. People forget. People make fun of me because they don't know. They say, oh, the tree's not screaming. That's not what trees do. First of all, trees do scream. When you break a tree branch, it screams in pain. It's at a frequency we can't hear. There are pheromones and scents set out that tell other plants in the area that the tree's in pain. Those are screams. Trees scream, people. Secondarily, there's the fact that if you stand next to 4521 long enough, you experience an ear-piercing silence. It's not just me. This is a known phenomenon for everybody who stands next to SCP-4521. So I will not have it. I am not crazy. This tree needs to scream. Damn it. It is anomalous. Easy to understand. Just go stand next to the tree. Dr. Lovelace, thank you for donating again to today's stream. Dr. Sherman, I am formally requesting 5 non-diabetic D-class personnel who like strawberries. Don't expect them to be returned. Non-diabetic D-class personnel who like strawberries. I'm gonna need to see a testing proposal before I approve this allotment of resources. What are you gonna do with D-class? I mean, I don't mind losing D-class. Trust me on that, but what's the strawberries gonna do? I'm just perplexed. The strawberries are for Dr. Loomclaw and have no, or Dr. Lovelace and have no relevance to the test. Interesting, desk. I need them for fun experiments. Kilber, thank you for donating in to say, just checked, Dr. Sherman is right, that was horrific. I know, right? Before I encountered SCP-4521, the concept of an ear-piercing silence was a foreign concept to me. Now, over time of studying, I have been doing research into the kind of dead rooms where it's so acoustically dead that you can hear your own heartbeat and that the silence makes you crazy after a while. So I'm wondering if the ear-piercing silence of SCP-4521 is a relative of the dead room phenomenon. But research is inconclusive so far. Would love to see an anime recreation of SCP-3001. Honestly, that would probably be pretty easy. Because all you have for most of it is one character in a black void. So you'd save a bundle on backgrounds. Affleck, thank you for donating again to say, Dr. Sherman, how would the Foundation contain O35 controlling a Clintar? Akin to Venom, but O35 would be its first host. So you want to put the mask, a parasite, on a symbiote, a parasite, on a person? You saw nothing. I gotta be honest, I don't have a clue in hell how that would function. Could you take O35 off of the subject host by removing the symbiote? Would the symbiote be in control of the body, but O35 would be in control of the symbiote? And Desk is telling me in the back channels, same symbiote rules apply. Loud sounds or heat would stop the symbiote in its tracks, and with enough, we'll separate it from O35. Easy peasy. Oh, well, yes, for the weakness and containment, yes, definitely you are correct. I'm still just interested in the biology. It's a bad idea, but I want to test it. It's a terrible idea, but science. How many SCPs are there? I forgot how many. Intern Olivia. We have approximately somewhere in the 10,200 articles tagged as SCPs on the SCP database right now. Wait, what was that? Double check. Let me just leave a little. Boom. Okay. Tech Tank. Welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. When we visited your site, there was a guy in a coat with green tentacles. I mean, it does not shock me that we have anomalous staff on site. Now, if HR promoted someone to researchership, I would have to look into who that is because I don't recognize a green tentacled researcher, but we do have a couple of green tentacled anomalies. Okay. I'll have to look into staffing reports later. But Site 42 staff, that's going to have to wait because we are currently at the end of stream. And as I do at the end of stream, as a tradition around these parts, I tell you guys my favorite SCPs. Of course, I'm not going to tell you guys that the SCPs I personally wrote are my favorites. That would be narcissism. That would be cheating. But if you want to read the SCPs I personally wrote, you can go to the Sherm's author page in Site42 Hub on the SCP database. There you can see the SCPs I personally wrote, as well as you saw nothing, except you will see the SCPs I wrote, and one tab over, you will find some links. Links that people ask me about all the time, but then they never seem to find. Just not determined enough, I guess. Sad for them, but not for you, Containment Hazard Assessment Team, because you are the determined type, I know. You will find those links, and as you do, you'll be able to become a Patreon patron or a YouTube channel member to support us monthly, or you can do Ko-Fi or YouTube Super Chats to donate to us one at a time. Either way, direct donations are the quickest way to help the Site42 team keep the lights on, so we appreciate your generosity. And if you can't donate because you're part of the broke gang, do not fret. We are an arts community. We understand the starving artist's life. Trust me. But if you are able to come to the streams regardless, you are also able to be a member of Mobile Task Force Sci-42, codenamed the Signal Boosters. When you like, share, subscribe, comment, chat, not just to us, but to the SCP projects we support, like the successful SCP Gallionic Kickstarter, or other SCP animes, games, films, merches, podcasts, comics, as well as the SCP Wiki's authors and artists alongside. Anybody who you support as a member of Mobile Task Force Sci-42 codename Signal Boosters, you are helping us as a community to get bigger and better SCP projects. Speaking of which, I just got the notification too, Dr. Frogman. After this stream, you can go visit with Agent Radiger, your favorite SCP YouTuber's favorite SCP YouTuber, who is currently live on Twitch. As I sign off, she signs on. It's beautiful. Head over and say Dr. Sherman sent you when we're done. Radiger on Twitch. Now, without further ado, my favorite SCPs in no particular order are SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5175, SCP-5320, and SCP-8980. Content warning on the last one, it's a bit of a rough read. Speed round. 3999-3043-008-J, Spooky-J, 5031, content warning on the last one, it's a rough read. So, Site42 staff, wait a minute, last minute donation here. Blue Phantom, thank you for donating again to say, ending it off to say have a great day, and SCP-297-J. Well, 297 is Steely Dan, the anomalous vibrator, right? Oh, I gotta change that. Yes, SCP-297 is the nuclear-powered vibrator that will turn you into a pile of goo if you use it at maximum setting. Now, as for... we don't have a 297-J, so I don't know exactly what you were talking about. But suffice it to say, Site42 staff, this has been another coffee break with Dr. Sherman and a celebration of SCP Gallionic's successful Kickstarter, aka SCP the Anime. The SCP community has won this round, but there will be other fights. And it's between you guys in Mobile Task Force Sci-42, codename Signal Boosters, and myself to keep the hype train going for the next big project, for the next big Kickstarter. And so, while I appreciate your efforts in doing this now, remember, this is just one of many fights. Celebrate your victory, raise your glasses and cheer, and then rest up for the next one. One more donation, I see. Blue Phantom, thank you for donating again to say, I meant SCP-729! Dash J! Why? Why? Desk, time out that monster. Right at the last minute. Ooh. Ooh. And so, Site42 staff, I hope you had fun, and I hope you learned something. Be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you in the next video or stream. I've paid my dues time after time. I've done my sentence, but committed no crime. And bad mistakes, I've made a few. I've had my share of sand kicked in my face, but I've come through. We are the champions, my friend. And we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world. We Are the Champions by Queen is the credit song, a fitting tribute to the SCP Gallionic team, SOM Studios. Be safe, be well. Go visit Radiger on Twitch and say hello from Dr. Sherman. Be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect.